Hey YouTube, welcome to the Amazing Spider-Man number 35 review. So let's jump in. We have a cover by JRJR, and this is a story by Zeb Wells, artwork by Patrick Gleason. So let's jump in. We pick up where we left off last issue. We had a battle with Spider-Man and Queen Goblin. Queen Goblin stepped in to try to stop him. He's been, acting a little crazy with the sins of Norman Osborn running through his body. And Norman Osborn came in and saved Kraven. Peter Spider-Man had buried him alive, very similar to the Last Hunt storyline, kind of a reversal. And so Norman is working with Kraven to try to reverse the procedure with his staff that he did to pull the sins from Queen Goblin. They want to be able to pull them from Spider-Man. And Norman looks like he is going to sacrifice himself and take those sins on. And so then we have a little prelude to the upcoming gang war story. There's kind of just a foreshadowing of that. And then we cut to the battle with Spider-Man and Queen Goblin. And we have, Mary Jane and Paul looking on. And we see, Peter is just, he's really looking to hurt Paul for all of the things that has happened between him and Paul and Mary Jane. Peter in this altered state feels like Paul stole Mary Jane from him. And, if we remember, Mary Jane now has some powers of her own. And so we see, Mary Jane basically starting to use her powers to defend Paul. And then Queen Goblin jumps in and gets the upper hand on Spider-Man and basically starts to really kind of take it to him here. And then Mary Jane jumps in and says, hey, look, nobody's hurting, Peter Parker today. And so she's using her powers to kind of fend off Queen Goblin. And then now that Spider-Man is free, he makes his dash after Paul because he's still looking to really inflict some hurt on Paul. And so this is kind of, this back and forth. And then now we see enter Kraven. He has his staff that he had before. So it looks like whatever Norman was working on, the staff is now kind of in play. And Norman is here as well. And he's saying, hey, look, you need to get out of here. But, I'm going to make this right. I'm going to take what's back. And he basically tells Mary Jane, look, it's been nice, knowing you, knowing that, his future is really unclear. And then now Spider-Man and Kraven really has Spider-Man's attention. And Kraven's up for the challenge. He's going to take him on head on. And again, we see, Spider-Man, laughing like the Hobgoblin. And then we see this battle between the two. And Spider-Man's really kind of getting the upper hand. Again, not pulling any punches. This kind of edgier, evil Spider-Man, really just showing the, full effects of his strength. And they continue, and, kind of, back and forth. And then when Kraven has distracted Peter, Norman jumps in with the staff and is able to, it looks like, pull the sins from Peter. And we see, MJ's there to, kind of embrace him and welcome him back. And then there's discussion, between Kraven and, Kraven's basically saying, look, I need to get out of here before, and Queen Goblin before Spider-Man kind of, gets it together here. Little ad for gang war. And then we see, so we don't really know exactly what happened with the sins that were removed from Peter. Where do they end up? And so, we see Norman and Peter, kind of talking to each other, and just, Norman's kind of checking in to make sure that he's okay. And we see, he's returned back, this back to the classic red and blue costume. So as far as we know, all is right in Peter's world. But then we see Norman here, and he's having these thoughts and in his head. And then we see the Green Goblin image. And so, I'm having trouble flipping the page here. And then we see, him kind of smirk and giggle. And then Norman cover it up. And so, is this the end? We don't know. This is where it leaves us. Peter is whole again. He is back to himself. Queen Goblin and Craven have kind of rode off into the sunset here. We don't really know what's going on with them. But Queen Goblin isn't the crazy Queen Goblin. She isn't infused with Norman Osborn's sins. But where are the sins? And that's why, we see this question mark here. Only time will tell what will happen. Will we see the Green Goblin return? And that's where we leave off. That is the conclusion to this nice little story arc, issue 35. Again, thought this was really some of Zeb Wells' best writing on this run, 35 issues in. This little story arc was by far one of my favorites. So thinking about the review system, we'll go with, again, 4 web heads for this. Really good. Some of the best work that, Zeb Wells has done. Now we're leading into the next couple issues. We're leading into the big event, Gang War. So we'll see where that leads. But let me know down in the comments what you think. Are you reading ASM? What did you think of this little story arc? Did it do enough to kind of help you, feel better about Zeb Wells' run? Definitely one of the more enjoyable ASM storylines that I've seen over the last 2 years. So, but let me know down in the comments, and we'll see you back here for issue 36.